Today's video is brought to you by Prime Gaming. Fellas, if you have Amazon Prime, which I'm pretty sure most of us do, you already have access to Prime Gaming free of charge. Every month, you'll receive new loot drops for all of your favorite games. And this month is very special. With the release of Overwatch 2 Beta, Prime Gaming is including a free legendary loot box for all Prime members. To claim, all you have to do is make sure you sign into your Amazon Prime account, navigate to the Prime Gaming website, connect your Overwatch account, and you're all set. And while you're here, make sure to grab the loot for any other games you own, including Destiny 2, New World, and even Valorant. And remember, these drops refresh every month, so you'll always have new currency, skins, or items to claim. You also get a free Twitch sub every month, which you can use right now over on our stream. Seriously, if you don't already have Prime Gaming, down below in the description will be a link to sign up now, so you can claim that sexy Overwatch loot before it's gone forever. Level up Prime Gaming? I just did, and it's awesome. Now, I know Solo 3.0 is the hot thing right now, no pun intended. However, I think all of us have fantasized about being Captain America, or at least I have. And today we're gonna be taking a step back, taking a look at dear old Void 3.0 and that sweet icky. This build actually takes advantage of the new Titan Exotic Gauntlet's Second Chance, which I know, at first glance, doesn't look that exciting. This build really harnesses and doubles down on the fantasy of throwing shields. It's a fun to use build versus an in-game build, but it does have a good amount of survivability. And in some instances, it actually can be utilized in in-game content. So first, you're obviously gonna be on the Void subclass, and you're gonna be rocking the shield throw because of Second Chance. This exotic essentially gives you a second shield throw charge, as well as making those shields pierce barrier champions, which is an added plus, especially for solo players. Now, the beautiful thing about this shield throw is, of course, the overshield you gain for each enemy hit by your shield throw. Now, you can use any barricade or grenade with this build. I personally like suppressor grenades. Yes, even in in-game content, suppressors is really nice, especially against the likes of the Lucent Brood. And with this build, you're gonna be getting it back very quickly, despite its long cooldown. As far as your super goes, it doesn't really matter if you want to go Sentinel Shield or Ward of Dawn. And really, that just depends on what your team is needing. And we're gonna get to that in just a second. But for those one-off moments when you do use your super, Sentinel Shield does make a lot of sense here, considering we're contributing to that shield throwing fantasy. Now, for your aspects, we're gonna be using Offensive Bore, which states that when you have an overshield, your grenade charges significantly faster. You have increased melee range and damage, and melee final blows extends the duration of that overshield. We're also using Controlled Demolition, which will cause enemies to become volatile when hit with a void ability, eventually setting off a chain reaction of void explosions. I know, everybody's crazy about Solo 3.0, but Void 3.0 is still extremely potent, maybe even more so. More importantly for this build, you're gonna be getting health regeneration when those volatile targets explode near you. And this will happen constantly because you'll be almost non-stop throwing shields and standing amidst groups of enemies. And that extra health regen helps you stay alive. Now, the 4 fragments that we're gonna be taking advantage of are Echo of Exchange, Echo of Reprisal, Echo of Leeching, as well as Echo of Obscurity. Now, Echo of Explosion causes void explosions on ability final blows. Echo Reprisal grants you super energy on final blows while you're surrounded, which is pretty much gonna be most of the time. Echo of Leeching gives you and nearby allies health regeneration on melee kills. Even more regeneration on top of the regen you're already getting from Controlled Demolition. And Echo of Obscurity grants you invisibility on finisher final blows. Yes, finishers are very much gonna be a part of this build. Trust me, it's gonna make sense here soon. Now, as far as weapons go, look, if you're really trying to lean into getting these shield throws back as often as possible, obviously Monte Carlo is the way to go. It helps a lot with topping off that melee to get that shield throw back whenever you need. Everything else is completely up to you. Although I do think that weapons with Wellspring is really good here, as that will also contribute to that ability regeneration, but of course not needed. And really, if you get good enough with this build and learn how to optimize the gameplay loop, you'll probably be able to slot out Monte Carlo as well. Now let's talk armor mods. In the helmet mod, we've got 2 hands-on mods. This mod gives us super energy on melee kills and is the main way to keep your super topped off with this build. We also have Melee Well Maker, which will spawn void wells on those melee kills. For the gloves, we've got a Charged with Light mod, Heavy Handed, which states that when you are charged with light and you use your charged melee ability, you regain half of your melee energy. Now, in the chest piece, we're slotting 2 Armor of the Dying Stars. This, of course, is for survivability, for both that solar and void damage resist, on top of 100 resilience that you should always be rocking inside of PvE, guys. 40% damage resist is nasty. We're also going to be taking advantage of the mod Bountiful Wells, which lets your elemental well mod stack, providing even more wells. Now, for your boots, we have 2 invigoration mods, which reduce your melee cooldown when you pick up orbs, as well as elemental charge, charge, which will make you charge at light when you pick up an elemental well, which of course is what's contributing there to heavy-handed. And on our Titan mark, we have melee well maker. Yes, this means you're actually going to be generating 3 void wells on each shield throw kill. Again, all of these wells are contributing to your ability regeneration, right? Which is a little overkill dropping this many wells, but that's the point. And if you're looking to take that even further, you can also take advantage of 1-2 finisher. This will of course restore your melee charge when you perform a finisher, but of course this does take a 6 of your super. Granted, hands-on though, especially if you're rocking 2 of them, we'll be topping that super right back off. You can stack on an outreach mod for even more melee energy when you use your barricade, and since you're rocking max resilience, that's going to be pretty often. And pretty much no matter what, you're granting yourself melee energy. Now, for survivability purposes, you can of course swap out melee wellmaker for well of tenacity, right? And I would recommend doing that in in-game content, because it's not like you need 3 wells. But in like regular content, and you're not really looking for that damage resist, then by all means, spawn all the wells you want. But in-game content, well of tenacity will keep you alive, man. I actually asked Court about it. Tenacity grants you 40% damage resist, which I know is kind of a stealth nerf. Could have been 40% for a while now, and maybe has something to do with like the resilience changes. But regardless, used to be 50%, now it's 40%, which is still a ton of damage resist on top of max resilience, right? Now for the gameplay loop. How does this build work? First, get a kill with your first shield throw. This will of course generate void wells. Now it can be 3 wells with of course melee well maker, which you're rocking double of, or just 2 void wells if you're taking advantage of tenacity. Now the shield throw will cause a void explosion because of volatile. You'll then pick up generated void wells to get charged with light ×2. Simultaneously, all of these void wells matching your subclass type are feeding into your abilities, giving you back more melee energy. Then you throw your second shield. This will generate even more void wells, causing more volatile explosions, and of course proccing heavy-handed, giving you half of your melee charge back, which will result in another fully charged shield throw because it will add on to the melee energy you've already gotten from the now 6 void wells. Pick up these void wells and you'll be charged with light ×2 yet again. Throw your third shield and it'll do the same thing. Rinse and repeat until you no longer have a fully charged shield throw ready to go. If you find yourself without a shield throw, which should rarely happen, just perform a finisher on an enemy. Yes, it will cost you a 6 of your super, but it will give you back your full melee charge because of 1-2 finisher, as well as invisibility from Echo of Obscurity. Or you can just pepper enemies with Monte Carlo to quicken that shield throw regen yet again. But Cross, can you use 1-2 punch to increase your shield throw damage? No, Bungie is anti-fun around here when it comes to range melees, and it does not work with 1-2 punch. I just want to go ahead and kill that dream right now. Now, things to remember, as well as other build options. You will have no problem with super energy here, guys. Even after spending a 6 of your super with your finisher, you're going to have that super back in no time with those double hands-on mods, because you're going to always be getting those melee kills. Echo Reprisal also grants you super energy on kills while you're surrounded by enemies. Not necessarily something you want to be doing in in-game content, but for the bold and the brave, and those that rock well of tenacity and max resilience, you can do so. Now, every time one of your shields hits the enemy, you do gain a chunk of overshield. So obviously, the more shields you throw, the better here. And considering you can almost get 3 back-to-back shields, it's very likely you're going to get an overshield completely full, or at least replenish most of it. You'll also be getting health regen on melee kills and health regen on nearby volatile explosions, thanks to Echo of Leeching, as well as controlled demolition. You got the invis on finishers for more survivability, and the longer you have an overshield, the faster your nade will come back. Significantly faster, by the way, with an overshield. Now, you can be rocking suppressor grenades, but guys, go with whatever you want to rock. Vortex, scatter, suppressor, void wall, it doesn't matter, man. Completely up to you. Again, picking up those elemental wells will also be contributing to your grenade energy, as well as everything else. Now, if performed correctly here, you can get up to 6, 7, or maybe even 8 shield throws almost one after another with this build. Now, some things that are optional. Obviously, 1-2 finisher is optional. Rocking 2 melee well makers, also optional. And again, what we're going for here with this build is leaning into that Captain America shield throwing fantasy. Speaking of that Titan fantasy, equip one of the Titan Shield's finishers for that added flair for when you finish off an enemy. It's sexy. And I will say, if you don't want to take advantage of 1-2 finisher, Echo of Obscurity, you could also slot that fragment out for another. Considering grenade kills, and you might be taking advantage of those grenades more often, you can also use Echo of Exchange, Echo of Instability, if you want to grant volatile rounds to void weapons, if you happen to be rocking void weapons, as well as Echo of Persistence. This, of course, grants you overshield for an increased duration. Now, the increased duration is nice. However, understand that's normally not the issue here, as normally, especially in in-game content, that overshield is going to get soaked pretty quickly by damage from the enemy. Now, for Grandmaster content specifically, and I'm actually going to try using this, you can take advantage of the seasonal mod Revitalizing Blast. This, of course, causes champions to ignite after stunning them. Yes, any kind of stun. And considering our shield throws can stun barrier champions, and it can become volatile because of controlled demolition. Then it will ignite because of revitalizing blast, causing a volatile explosion right after. Do you see it, fellas? It's quite nice. There's a lot of explosions going off at once and a lot of damage to those barrier champions. And I do suggest, especially in Grandmaster content, take advantage of Well of Tenacity, as survivability really is the key here. So guys, that is our build with Second Chance and Void 3.0. Let me know in the comments below what you think of this build. And of course, if you have any build suggestions, we have a Discord. And in that Discord, we have a build menu where tons of people are sharing out their builds. Feel free to come by. Let's talk about it. We'd love to take some of y'all's build suggestions and share it out. Well, fellas and ladies, thank you all for coming and watching. And as always,
Slap that like button like your mama told you right.